quiet 3 weeks. We've just been holding on, been waiting to see what Mr. Boris Johnson had to say with regard to the country reopening again. We're also letting that kind of bed in with the companies we work with to see when we can next have a chat with them to look to try and set a preliminary date or see when the bar is, and stuff like that is reopening, with a view to try and get physical meets up and running again this year, which will be the ultimate goal, really. I mean, the ultimate goal since everything locked down was to get LondonFurs up and running, be it in this online format, which has been proved to be a pretty popular thing, and obviously to try and get everything back open again physically in the safest manner possible. I think that's the challenge for everyone, all fur meet organisers, all convention organisers, and really everyone's gone through the same boat because we've all been locked down, we've all been in the same position, kind of just like, oh man, when can I see my friends? When can I fursuit again? When can I hang around? When can I get a pint in the pub? That's like the big one. It was it was funny this week actually. Miyabi sent me this amazing song, and I'll actually post up a link in the chat in a bit. But it's about a guy who wants to go back to the pub, and the lyrics are very, very of the moment. So we'll pop that in as well soon. Other than that, personally, I've just finished another mad diet thing I've been on, and I've been doing this really cool exercise group thing with some friends of mine. We do sort of HIIT sessions. So I've been doing HIIT sessions in the week and also doing HIIT sessions on the weekend. So I did one today at 4 o'clock. So I'm a little bit I'm knackered, frankly, and my legs feel like they have been worked to death. And that's just exercise. But I've touched upon it in other shows that exercise is so important and it's such a good thing. And I mean, if it's something that you were thinking of wanting to start to do and you're interested in joining a group of like-minded, usually lazy people, but we get together and do a 20-minute workout pretty much every other day or just on weekends. So if you're interested in doing that, give me a shout on Telegram on @AnnieBoxer, and I'll add you to our little group, or I'll explain a little bit more. Anyway, enough about me. Let's have a little staff catch up. Atlas, how are you doing? Are you still eating pizza?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. How are you doing anyway? I won't keep you on here too long because I know you're still eating pizza, and that is it's a crucial life thing. Pizza eating, it should never be interrupted.
Yeah, it's one of the important food groups for furries. I've been good mostly. Just been at home. I've been actually writing up my dissertation, and also managed to reach 5,000 followers on TikTok.
Hey, nice. That's an achievement.
Yeah,
Good.
so
Yeah, keep
cool.
up. The
So cool,
dissertation's
man.
hard work, isn't it? I mean, it's one of those where you just need to keep chipping away at it, chipping away at the old block. So keep that up.
Chipping away is like staring at like endless walls of text just to find one article for what you're looking for. Then sure, I'm chiseling with a jackhammer.
Just make sure you reference it properly, otherwise it's worth nothing.
They do drill that into our heads thoroughly.
Yeah, big time.
That's
Well, good. It's good to hear from you, mate. Bav, the Bav. How are you doing, buddy?
Good evening. Yeah, I'm good. Good. Thank you.
It's evening, isn't it? It's looking nice outside. It's this beautiful, weird sunset light over
Oh, really? Yeah.
Uxbridge.
It's dark. It's gone dark here for me. But yeah, I mean, before the sunset here was really nice, like a purple lilac kind of hue, which was so nice. It's a good sign that the times are changing. Where when it gets to the evening by 6 o'clock or by 5 o'clock at least, you still get a bit of daylight. That's nice. A good feeling. A bit of good
Been
feeling rather
loving
than
that
having
actually.
pitch
As a
black.
postman as well, it's great because you can do the last little bit of your shift. You see it every day. It gets like
yeah.
a little bit lighter, a little
Yeah,
bit
it's a good
nicer.
feeling. It's a good positive feeling because it means you still got stuff to do. You can still there's still stuff to do in the day in the evening as well, rather than just like, oh, it's nighttime. Well, that's it. That's the day gone.
It's forever nighttime.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh man, that'd be horrible. Oh,
Ugh, don't. But good.
so,
So
so
you've been doing well.
yeah. So mostly just been arting and streaming often. One thing I've started to look into is VR chat. It's I've actually given it a go this week, and it's actually pretty fun.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've noticed that that behavior of when we go to fur meets and stuff, the behavior of how we meet other people is kind of
Hmm.
reflected in VR chat as well. How people tend to hang out together and stuff. It's
No
almost like
way.
it is. I've watched it. I was observing like a gathering of furries and stuff, and I noticed like
Hmm.
the same kind of pattern forming when you see at meets. So it's interesting how it moves across from reality to virtual reality. So no, it's interesting, and and getting to I can see why it's popular because it's a great way to meet other people and hang out with other people, and obviously it's got games and
Go
stuff.
on.
So yeah, definitely something we can potentially maybe try and look into. I think we mentioned it before.
Yeah, I
I
think
think we
we
might try.
should.
Yeah.
It's something I'd like to do for sure.
Mm,
And yeah, I know we were talking about trying to do like a LondonFurs room. I think that's
yeah,
a really
yeah,
cool idea.
yeah. I mean, if people are
Um,
listening, like I said, you don't need a VR headset to do this. You can play it. It supports keyboard and mouse, so you'll be treating it as like a first person kind of environment, but still, it seems to be really going really well. It's worth a try if you've never tried VR chat. So give it a bash.
Nice, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, let's we need to work on that. We should
Mm.
try and get that set up for the next meet. Actually, that'd be quite a cool thing to have following our debauchery here.
Rome wasn't built in a day. We're going to London first.
Exactly, the truth.
But we'll look into it. We'll definitely will look into it.
Nice one, mate.
Cool.
Latimer, what is
Hello.
happening?
Not a lot really.
How?
I'm at the end of my apprenticeship though, which is exciting. I've got an endpoint exam in a couple of weeks. So once
Oh,
that's done,
nice.
it will be nice to not have that hanging above my head anymore. But I have been out where I've been allowed to and where it's, safe and stuff. I've been able to go to the railway line, which is near where I am on my walks. So I've been able to spot some trains. I'm going to post one now because if I don't, people will comment.
People will comment. It will cause
It's
much
uploading.
upset. Do you know the on the subject of trains? I've been watching Snowpiercer. I forgot to mention that earlier. I've
All
been
right.
watching Snowpiercer again. It's the TV series. Have you watched it?
I have not, no.
It's well that firstly that is a big surprise because I thought you'd be bang into it. But
It's on the
it's on
list of
Netflix.
things to watch
Yeah,
because I don't have Netflix, you see.
yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. And the writer, it's an amazing writer. Um, he did the film Parasite. Have you seen that?
Again, I've heard of it. I really want to watch it, but I ain't got Netflix.
Yeah, it's another
I'm
one
gonna
that's
I'm gonna
like
probably get a subscription at some point just so I can binge watch loads of things and be
I
stars.
don't think Parasite's on Netflix necessarily, but it's the one that won all the was it Oscars? And it really upset what's his name? What's his face? What's his face? um what's that oh god man, I can't even think at the
No, I
moment.
can't
The
remember.
American director that does all the violent films.
Michael
Once Upon a
Bay.
Michael
Time in
Bay.
Hollywood. That geezer. He was upset. Yeah, Parasite, the film won
Yeah,
lots of awards,
Quentin
and his
Tarantino.
film,
Yeah,
yeah, Tarantino. Thank you everyone in the chat. Yeah, and Parasite, it's an amazing film, such a good film. And I only just got around to watching it recently, and then I found out he's involved in the writing of Snowpiercer as well. Not the film, the TV series, and the TV series is really cool. It's awesome. It's a really cool idea. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. And sorry to jump in, but yeah, that was my train chat. Nice photo, by the way.
yeah. That's just off my phone, which it's just a credit to how much tech has advanced for mobile tech. Because yeah, that's not a professional camera. It's just my phone.
It's insane, isn't it? It really is insane how good cameras are. Actually,
Aye.
the technology of the phone cameras has advanced in the amount of time it's taken for us to have the last physical Fermi, isn't it? Because again, that was something I
Yeah,
forgot to mention. It's been 1 year, hasn't it, since
it's been a
our
year.
last meet. So, God, we will, yeah, a whole year. Crikey. Well, good. It's good to catch up with you again, buddy. Next
Indeed.
on my list of reprobates, LondonFurs staff, Lupusfur, how are you doing?
Hello, everybody. I am doing fine.
Excellent.
My usual, as always, just working a lot, far too much work. I did my Apple Watch, right? Is always, I've had one for about 5 years, and one of
Yeah.
the things it does is it measures your heart rate all the time. And one of the apps that I have on my phone decided to send me an alert to say that your heart rate is kind of high, and it's like, okie dokie. So
What?
I know, right? So what I actually did was I went, because it's got a graph on there which shows you your heart rate over the last 5 years, and it's true. My heart rate has increased on average by about 6 or 7 beats per minute since about 6 months ago, and I know this is kind of interesting, I guess, but I called a doctor and I spoke to a doctor about it, and he just basically says, "You're tired."
Like, what?
Yeah.
Get some kit.
Right. So working too hard and doing all that kind of stuff, it's takes a toll. And yes, I'm actually going to book some holiday.
Fair shout. Well, that's good. You know what? That's a technology, isn't it? It's an amazing thing, and that like your watch can basically tell you, "Hey, mate, you're a bit knackered."
Indeed. Yeah. It was kind of an eye opener. But you know. Yeah. So
it's good, mate.
is this my opportunity to talk about the technology behind what we're doing at the moment?
Yeah, so the extra work we've been giving you. Let's talk about the extra work that we've been giving you on top of the work that's causing you extra stress. How's it been going? Yeah,
it's been going fine. So what I've done,
these beautiful updates.
So what I've done is, viewers on Twitch and YouTube will have noticed that there was a picture of a train that appeared on their view. What this has made me do is, because people like to link pictures and all this kind of stuff, and if you're listening to it on a different platform, you're not going to be able to see those. So my intention was to have full control over the video as well as the audio of what we do here. So I spent a lot of time, some cash, and all this kind of stuff in order to have the new video presentation that we have right now. It
is a beautiful thing, actually. I'm looking at it. It's admiration. I love the little the voice thing. When you talk, it makes that like little graphic. Very cool.
The stereo spectrum. There you go. That's what they're called.
That's the one.
So yeah, I mean, I can just talk about a bit about why it's so complicated. Now, in order to put this on, because we're all remote, there's so many things that I need to do in order to make sure that everybody can hear exactly what's going on, as well as now see what's going on. So I have to capture off. So we're talking to each other right now on Discord. So I have to capture the sound out of Discord. I have to bring it into streaming software, which is OBS, which somebody will most likely be familiar with. And then there's a whole load of audio setup and audio routing, which I have to do in order to get it in the right place, because I've got things that play music, things that play sound, things that talk to each other, and I've got my own microphone set up, and that all needs to be routed around all kinds of very complicated and stuff like this. And it all has to be done in real time, and everything about it just takes a lot of effort. And to get it right, I've got a separate computer which does all the encoding and streaming, which sends it out to Twitch and YouTube and all this kind of stuff. So, there's a lot of effort that's gone into this. So I hope it's very appreciated. But the thing about it is, we can do a lot more stuff with our video stuff in the future. So rather than just having a look at a spectrometer, we can do all kinds of cool stuff later on down the line.
Yeah, do you know we could put the VR chat room in now? Sure, as well.
Oh, yeah.
There must be stuff like that we can do.
I
That'd
can
be
do all
quite a
kinds
cool
of
thing to do.
capture and cool stuff like that.
Oh, hail to the year! So
Yeah.
watch this space. Watch this space. Well, nice one, mate, and we appreciate this. I appreciate the work you've done. I'm sure everyone else does as well. It's amazing. The website, the live streams. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So thank you, buddy. Much appreciato. Noah Kitsune, how are you, Nay?
Hello.
How are you doing?
Okay, I mean, I've been doing exercise recently. I've been doing fitness boxing on my Switch, so that's been good. I've been actually starting to get some decent exercise.
Nice. It's so crucial, man. It really is.
It's really important. So I've been feeling the effects of that. My arms have been very achy for the last week, but it'll get better.
Definitely.
Not really anything else to report, honestly, from here. But I mean, I'm starting to plan some photo shoots now that you're allowed to meet up with one other person outside from the 8th.
Nice.
So those are going in the works. So hopefully I'll have something to do because it's been so long and I need a creative output.
Yeah, that's an important one as well. No, it'll be good. You have to. Now we've got this stream thing as well. You can post up the photos in there that you've been taking and stuff. So that'll be a good one.
Yeah, will be.
Good. Well, good to catch up, mate. And as I move down my list, I think we are coming to last but not least, Sir Tamwolf.
Hey buddy, how's it going?
Yeah, very, very good. Very, very good. How are
That's
you?
good to hear. I mean, listening to you talk about movies is painful, Annie. I have to say, like that guy who directed that movie, and then the other guy who wasn't. So, right,
You know the one. You know the one.
That's who directed Snowpiercer. He directed the first movie, and he's produced the TV series. And it was Tarantino who was a bit grumpy about it because he lost at the Oscars.
Did he do the movie as well?
That's right. I mean, he did the movie. He's just produced the TV series.
Ah, okay.
There you go.
I'll
filled in that little blank. But apart from that, yeah, I'm doing pretty well. And you'll be shocked to know that I actually went out and did some exercise today.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
Well, I've downloaded the old Couch to 5K, so I did my my first run from that, which was, and I know this will come as a shock to you, Annie, but I'm not a natural athlete. It's not running in a park is not my natural home. I'm more of a sitting on the sofa, reaching for a snack sort of a guy.
I can respect that.
So that first 60-minute run, I think my body did everything it possibly could to try and make me stop, like by threatening a heart attack and saying, "No, we're having an asthma attack. I'm pretty sure we're going to die here. We better just go home right now."
Just have a quick little lie down on this sofa here. Yeah.
Is dying actually an option? Because we might just die. I'm just going to throw that out there. So I pushed through that, and I was okay. I was almost getting into it by the end.
Good. No, it is. It's one of those. The first few sessions you do, your body will literally do everything it can to stop you from doing it. But you push through the pain, and you'll get those gains.
It doesn't seem good for evolution, does it? That our bodies want to do everything to stop us from exercising.
Literally,
why isn't it rewarding us like instantly by going, "Here you go."
Exactly. Here's your 6-pack. Bang.
Yeah,
smash
bang.
it.
Do it. But no, it was horrific. But I'm going to push through just because then you can't give me crap on these little calls for it.
Have you've got Strava? Let's get Strava and get on that.
I haven't got Strava going yet. Once I start actually being able to do more than limp around a park and actually do runs that I could show off about, then I may think about Strava. But until then,
like small marathons and things that you can do in the woods. I've got Strava now. I've added Strava. That's another thing.
That's because you can run and you can show off about your
your runs.
Yeah, but I can't. I'm not that good. I'm just like, I just do it. What I like about it is it's just like it shows that you've done something. So it's kind of like that's the reward, and that you,
Oh, that's all right, isn't it?
you know.
The main thing.
Well done. You left your house today.
I mean, honestly, right
it
now
will
that
still
is a
tell
massive
you you're
achievement.
fat. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's just like you're an embarrassment to yourself. But no, honestly, do keep it up, and that's good to hear. It's very good to hear.
I think if I can do it, then honestly anyone can do it. Because and I who knows if I will continue, but I'm hoping so. Because then each week we can check in, or every 3 weeks we can check in and see if I'm still going, and shame me if I'm not.
Perfect. 3 weeks time. I want you like running. What's that? Well, you should do the 5K in 2 weeks, isn't it?
2
Was it
weeks,
3
yeah.
weeks?
No, that I think it's like 9 weeks until you can do 5K,
9 weeks.
dude. It's like,
Crikey.
next week then, is it 5K?
Yes.
Week after that, 10K. Week after that, marathon.
Marathon, and then you're racing Bunny, who's just like the runner now.
Oh my god,
Puts
man.
me to
Like,
shame.
he's just like, oh, I just went out for a run, just did like 20K. Woo.
Literally, it's just like amazing. So me and you need to catch up to Bunny. That's our challenge.
Well, we just need
before the end
to,
of lockdown.
we'll just chase him around the park. That'll be the incentive.
Simple. Just get that like that natural, wolf and dog chasing bunny thing.
It'll be like dog races, won't it? We'll just have some
Yeah, it
spectators
will
while we're just
be.
we're just charging after a bunny around the park.
I'll put £2.50 on you.
Well, everyone else put some bets on the side.
Yes. Let's get the money. Like we get
My
this
money's
going.
on
Why
Tam
not?
Wolf having a heart attack at the first corner.
And I will just be doing everything to win. Anything I can to win.
Just throwing rocks at Bunny while he's running.
It will be good. So, that's everyone, isn't it?
I think it is.
Little catch. We have a few people missing today, but it's for a multitude of reasons, work and mainly work actually. No one's ill, everyone's okay, and everyone's safe, and that's the most important thing. So, yeah. We have a very special guest today, don't we, Tamil?
We do indeed. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. We are joined today by Fioxy, who is a director of ConFuzzled UK, and also is one of the main organisers of LondonFurs as well. Fioxy, I know you're here actually. I can see you're here, and we've both got half an eye on the England rugby game. I know, which is going on at the moment, and there's Formula E going on at the moment as well. So, again, if you've tuned in and you've chose to listen to us rather than those two things, amazing. Thank you.
But you've done already better than Annie has, because he's already half watching the rugby. So if he randomly just starts screaming or cursing, then that is going to be why. Just heads up, everyone.
So Fioxy, if you're here, if you can unmute yourself and come and say hello.
I suppose I can do that. Good evening, everyone.
There he is. There he is.
There he is. Good evening. Good evening. I keep nearly saying good morning. I don't know what's wrong with me. But
You just want to be a sort of good morning TV host, don't you? Maybe a cup of coffee and a smile in the morning.
Don't know about a smile. Cup of coffee, yes.
Just a grumpy face. Wake up.
Exactly. So Fioxy, what's been going on? How have you been doing?
I'm good, thanks. I'm real good, all things considering. Everything's pretty good. I've been keeping myself very busy. Like everyone else, still on the fitness train. So it's nice to kind of be able to get out the weekend and do your mandated one exercise.
Hand your voucher in and, get out there to exercise.
Exactly.
You do a
That's
lot
it.
of running, don't you, Foxy?
I do, yeah. So I took up running a few years ago. In this was just as I think Couch to 5K was kind of launched, and I was like, "Damn, that's a good idea." Completely ignored it and didn't download it and just went running on my own, which, with hindsight, was a bad idea. But now I'm at the point where I run 10Ks semi-frequently, and every time I do a different one, I pick a different charity. So I do the Run for All 10Ks. Foundation up in the north of England, and you can usually find me at Hull, Leeds, and York's 10Ks now. Real proud of that. Real proud of the charity work that they all do. Real proud of the amounts that furries always dig deep and throw onto the GoFundMe pages that I set up. So really, really got mad respect for that. And at the benefit as well to all the charities is that it's supposed to, make my life a bit longer as well, which could only be a good thing.
Exactly. Who've you
Definitely.
been supporting recently then? Who are some of your charities?
So because all the 2020 10Ks were postponed, the Run for All team said you can do distances over Christmas. So this was between December and first week of Jan. It was very cold. And I opted to do a 10K for the charity Mind, which is a mental health charity, because I think with everything going on, all things considered, the mental health charities were going to be absolutely rammed with exactly, with requests for assistance all over the place. So I ran and donated money to the York Mind branch, and I got an email from them yesterday, actually. It was £290 plus, I think, another 65 or 90 quid, I can't quite remember, in gift aid as well, which, for one little line fox running in the cold is pretty good. What was really nice about it is they made the effort to send this email, and they sent me a little running top, and it was just real nice just to stay in touch. And I'm going to run for them again. Previously, I've run for the British Heart Foundation, which is another big one, and the other guys I think I've run for was Cancer Research UK. So I'm very, very big on charity starts at home. Certainly, if you want to look after your body, there's no bad time to decide that you want to get yourself a bit fitter. There's no bad time to think, should I try and raise a bit of money for charity, make the world a better place? Absolutely, go for it.
Oh, good work, buddy. That's amazing to hear. And you're absolutely right. Like, the amount that furries contribute when it comes to charity is always incredible. If someone were ever to calculate how much money globally furries give to charity a year, I'm sure we'd all be absolutely staggered, because
It will be
we are a
huge,
generous lot, aren't we?
We are.
Oh, well, while we're just talking about you, the main event this evening, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and just tell people what you do and how you're sort of involved with the furry community?
Sure. Okay. So my name's Fioxy, or Fioxy, depending on your local dialect. I am the newest addition to the ConFuzzled executive team as one of the directors of the company and the convention. I've been a furry for 15 years, and it was actually 15 years ago this month, which was my first fur meet that I attended. It was a York Furs main meet in February 2006. I was 16, and 6 months later, I was running them, which was so much fun. No, it's been great, and I've been really blessed that while passing the torch, because of course sometimes York is a predominantly a university city, so organisers tend to move on at the time, and I just was in the right place at the right time, and I've been running the main meets then as they've been happening for the last 14 and a half years, which is a hell of a long time. Beyond that, I was actually too young to attend the very first ConFuzzled, which was in 2008. And my first one was in 2012. No, 2012, I think, which, was a great year. Nice vintage. And by 2013, I was pulled into the staff role of CF. So a bit about me and my journey through the convention as it was is I started in convention operations. So many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with how conventions work. If you don't, ConOps are basically the information desk and the go-to guys if you have any problems, really, at conventions. So If you had a problem or you want to find something or just ask questions and stuff like that, the work specific panels for it, you could just rock up to ConOps, and we'd always do our best to help. From then, I got pinched into the finance team. And from there, I worked with them. I've been blessed enough to help registration. I've been blessed enough to help with the dealer's den all through part of it. And also from there, came to this position whereby everyone applied who wanted to be a director of the convention, and was successful in that application. And here I am now, sat before you all.
That's quite the
Blessing
journey.
us. It's a really important thing to work on events, or I mean the convention, for example, in as many different roles as you can, to sort of gain the perspective of everyone working in those positions. And it's a really good thing that you've done all those things. It's not just like you've just stumbled across starting a convention and gone, hey, yeah, now I'm chairman. It's like it's so important to be able to work in so many different positions and see how what you're asking of people, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good that you kind of have an understanding of if you are asking people to do something. But of course, with any event, whether it be LondonFurs, York Furs, anyone organising meets or conventions, you're all on the same team, usually for charity, and you just want to make the dream work, right? So there's this mad underlying tone of respect between everyone for everything, in that it's everyone's own personal time to make this work for the greater good. Okay. Surprised nobody echoed that back. Really?
The greater good. I was going to
The
do it.
greater good.
The greater good.
Thank you. Okay. And so when you've been in those positions, and if you're asking for people to move either chairs and tables around, or you're asking people where are they or when can they help move X, Y, and Z, it's really important to have been on that other side and can only, help harbour good relations between everyone in your team, because that's what we all are at the end of the day. We're all one massive team. The convention, the meet organisers, the committees, we're all there for each other, and we're all there for the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you get the respect as well from that you've worked all these roles and you've worked your way up as well. And I was just thinking, just in case there is anybody on here who doesn't know what ConFuzzled is, why don't you just give us a quick little synopsis of what it is, where it is, and what sort of stuff goes down?
I'm
Not
so
everything
glad
that
you
goes
asked.
down.
I did actual research for this, so I looked really intelligent. So
Yes.
right, let's talk about ConFuzzled. ConFuzzled is a furry convention. Wow. It's currently held in Birmingham. Lovely city, lovely venue. At the Hilton Metropole Hotel. It has been there since 2014. What do you need to know about ConFuzzled? Well, it is the second largest convention within Europe. In 2019, it pulled in 2,116 attendees from 46 countries, making it the 12th largest convention in the world.
Crikey.
How was that?
That was pretty impressive.
That was really good.
Didn't look like you were reading it at all.
No, not at all. We're really, really proud of the humble roots which ConFuzzled had. It started in 2008 in Manchester in a youth hostel, and it had 136 attendees. Since then, it has moved to the Britannia, which is also in Manchester in 2010, the Hinkley Island Hotel in 2012, and then its eventual home now currently is the Hilton Metropole since 2014. We would have loved to have smashed some more records last year, but unfortunately we can't. But we can tell you that virtual ConFuzzled, which ran last year, did manage to pull in 6,500 unique viewers to its stream across the event. So we are super proud of the community still supporting us. We are super proud of our team, the events team, the audiovisual team, everyone involved in making the convention happen, no matter what form they take. It's still a huge undertaking. And previously, all I'd really done for it was just get involved in main stage shows on a Saturday night with Jim.
So tell us about
We'll
like
never
taking
forget
it
Jim's game show.
online, like the challenge.
Say that again. Sorry. Tell us about the
Tell us
online
about
version.
taking it online this year. Like, so how did you plan for this, and what were the big challenges of moving it online? Of basically taking an in-person massive con and turning that into an online event. How did that work? How did it go down?
Right. Well, I mean, it worked through necessity, in essence, because when the sad news came that 2020 wasn't going to happen, and we only had a very short amount of time to think about virtual CF and putting it on, and we did a good job, and other conventions also did a superb job in making their virtual events happen. The decision making, so far as where we go, is that ConFuzzled is such a large event that it takes, the best part of 9-10 months to plan, and that means that you've got to factor in opening your registration, making sure that your systems are available, staff are available, to process everything that's required just to get the ball rolling, really, in knowing what rough numbers you're likely to get. Now, when you've got the uncertainty of, well, hang on, this is in the future here, and we're in the middle of a pandemic. How do we do this? You can't really. I mean, your hands are tied up to the point where you get into discussions with people and go, look, what's the feasibility of it actually happening? And you always have backup plans going in the back of your mind of, right, well, okay, if it doesn't happen, what can we do? Where's virtual CF? Who do we need to tell about it? Who do we need to plan for it? What do we need to plan for it? What resources are available? What staff do we need to have it available and ready? And it's just one of those things whereby you finally, the axe comes down. And unfortunately, ConFuzzled 2021, from just where it sits, this is back in January, came down and said, look, it's not going to happen. But that gives us the opportunity at that point to go, well, actually, it's all hands on deck now for virtual CF. Like, let's make it amazing. Let's put everything in it that we can make it the best thing ever. And that's where we've been, and that's where we're starting. So we are planning virtual CF again. It's just one of those unfortunate things about where CF is planned, and the unfortunate thing about the convention as a whole in the middle of a global pandemic. It's not ideal, but we will adapt. And in order to do that, we're making sure that we have all the resources available to put on a cracking virtual.
Oh, amazing. And how do you think that going ahead, do you think this, as you're looking towards 2022, do you think some of the things that you're doing now will influence plans for the far in the future?
We'd like to think that whatever we're doing now will always have its place. Either that's to think of as backups or to influence new ideas into the future. So if there are lessons which we can learn from virtual CF, whether that be planning, whether that be putting into things about VR chats, or whether there's events which only work well on virtual CF but have the potential to be brought into, I don't want to say actual CF, real life CF, then these are all things which are going to come out from running a couple of convention cycles digitally. There's always going to be things about questions asked about audio stuff, about video stuff. Is there any way to implement it into events so that we may have a broader reach? Just for example, when we're at ConFuzzled is able to hijack the Hilton's somewhat archaic television system, in that we can broadcast CFTV to the rooms in the convention. Well, okay, what do we need to do to be able to put that up? A 24-hour live stream, a Twitch channel, anything like that. And these are all ideas which everyone will take on board and will utilize. People are very, very keen to put forward their ideas for the convention and how they can make it better. And certainly that's one of the things which we are keen to make sure that the staff know, that no idea is a bad idea, in theory.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, touching upon the staff for ConFuzzled, how many people do you have there, staff as a whole, for the convention when you're running as a physical
We've got
convention?
well over 100 staff and crew and we've got more volunteers who dedicate their time to making sure that ConFuzzled is as grand as it can possibly be. And I'm thankful to everybody that gives their time for it, whether that is pre-con, at con, and post-con. And a lot of departments work all the way through the years as well. You know, a lot of people may think that ConFuzzled, for them as the attendees, is they rock up, everything's nice and presented, and you've got artwork all over the walls and stuff is organized. You've got events planning and there's a nice brochure and stuff. But all of this, of course, takes months and months and months of planning. Which is the same as any big event, and we're always trying to improve it. We're changing the theme. We always get ideas. We always welcome feedback. And ConFuzzled prides itself on wanting to be one of these innovative cons that is always looking forward. And part of that happening is also through the growth that we've got. You know, people want to come to ConFuzzled. The last year in 2019, the hotel, the Hilton, we have as many rooms as they have available. It's full. You know, we have to have overflow hotels. Such is the success of the event. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And we've spoken to a few other sort of event organizers and con chairmen over the last few months, and we've been asking them as well, like, how do you feel like there's going to be any challenge with trying to keep the spirit of what ConFuzzled is all around while also increasing in size? Because I can imagine it's just going to keep growing and growing as the years go on. So is that something that you're trying to keep in mind, of how to keep that experience but also open it up for as many people as possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the goal of ConFuzzled isn't to be the biggest con, and you know, we know that there's no chance of being able to hit, you know, the MFF sizes and the American Convention Centers. I mean, where we are, the Hilton is actually the biggest hotel outside of London. So as far as capacity goes, we're practically there. Now, what's really good about that location is that on the lake, which it's based upon, has hotels around it and new hotels popping up. So that while we're not trying to gear specifically to grow, if it happens naturally, we're ready. There are options there. What we are always focused on is the convention experience and making sure that it is as good as possible. Now, in order to do that, as the convention gets bigger, the staffing needs to get bigger. So this is why we're always so thankful to people who volunteer some of their times, whether they turn up to ConOps on the first day and go, look, I want to help. This is, you know, I just want to, whatever you want, I'm there for you, just some bodies. To applying for crew, to working into staff position, you know, the convention as it grows organically will still need people to help and support it. Now, we don't think we're in a position where we're stretched too thin, because we know that we have the ability to put on recruitment drives. And, you know, as we all know, the furry community is so passionate that there's always people who will want to help. And so that's what we're mostly focused on, is just making sure that we have the right amount of staff for the attendees that we're pulling in. We're not looking to grow and be the biggest in the world. We are looking to make sure that when people do come to Puzzle, their experience is as good as it can be.
Yeah, for sure.
It leads quite nicely onto sort of asking, obviously there is no con in 2021, but I mean, if it's you know, we're coming to 2022 and ConFuzzled's going ahead, and it may be the first time attending a con, what would you suggest to those people in terms of people that are feeling nervous about trying to go to a convention and go to one of such a size of ConFuzzled? Is there any sort of good tips you'd have for those people, or any reassurances you could pass on to those people?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's your first con and you want to go in the deep end and you want to pick a biggie, you know, the most important things to do is I've got a handful of things. One is I would try and get some friends to go with. Okay, if you go on your own, it's very likely that even though everything is well signposted, it's going to be quite overwhelming to you for the first time, because there's a lot of people around. and you won't necessarily know where everything is, where you're going, or what you do. So the important things to do with any convention the first time you're there is to always find your registration point and get hold of your convention pack. Within your convention pack, there will always be a map of the hotel. There will also be the schedule of events. They are your go-to for the convention. So if you're the stuff you want to see, places you want to go, you've got that at your fingertips. The second thing I would do is then get checked into your room, because people always make the mistake of either getting caught up initially when they get into the lobby, forgetting to do things, or trying to fursuit straight away. Now, get upstairs, get your stuff unpacked, take a minute to decompress, soak it all in, and then go out and have fun. I think it's super important that conventions are there for new furries and particularly new attendees. So there is always an event on at ConFuzzled, which is like, your first ConFuzzled, where if you're a newbie, you can turn up and meet other newbies. You can meet experienced congoers. You can meet staff and crew. And we're just there to help ease you into this con experience. Trust me, we've all been there. We probably all remember our first con. We all remember being like deers in the headlights, like, oh my God, this is amazing. Where am I? Oh my God, there's a giant rabbit. So, take it all in stride if you can. If you can't, remember, there's always con ops. You can always go down there. You can always have a chat to them. They will help you.
Yeah, that is good to know, because it can be overwhelming, can't it? When you're still new, because there's so many rooms, there's so many people bustling around, especially if you come at a peak time when it's absolutely crammed and people are everywhere. I imagine a lot of people do probably get overwhelmed, especially if they're from abroad as well. So it's good advice to go down to ConOps. I think, have a chat with someone.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, if I was a new furry now, I still would try and attend meets, whether locally and then further afield, probably before just jumping straight into conventions. But this is why, look at that, I'm just being echoed immediately by Bunny.
Straight away.
So, if you're new to the fandom, always try and see if there's a local scene. Try and see if you've got some meets, or try and see where like the nearest kind of hub is, if you like. It's always going to benefit you to, as I say, if you can make some friends beforehand and go together, it always makes the experience amazing when you're meeting up with your friends. Now, we all know in the fandom, particularly those of us who've been in the fandom for a long time, there's some names in the actual chat who I haven't seen for years, and hopefully my northern dulcet tones are a breath of fresh air in their lugholes, whereby, we are all spread out up and down the country, and sometimes conventions are the only place where you're going to see each other. It's exactly the same for some of the meets. So when I was younger, the northern meets ran monthly on a rotation. So some of you who were up north, sort of 10, 12 years ago, will remember that every month had a different meet, so that people who were closer to them didn't have to pay to travel so far, or it was just, you got a different point of view of places. So there was Chester, York, Liverpool, Leeds, Manchester, and Sheffield, and we all ran on a 6-monthly rotation. And York's mains were February and August, and you'd always try and support your local one. But if you thought, actually, I can't go to you, let's say you were near me and you were in York and it's like 20 minutes away, but it was 3 hours to Liverpool, you may go once every 6 months, because that's the beauty of it. It's a treat. So always try and use your local fandom, if it were, your local furries, for local people first, and work your way up to the convention. I mean, I'm a convention director, which still sounds scary to say, really. And I've never been to like an American con. I've never been to a convention with more than like 2,000 people. And certainly, as a UK-based group, give the other UK cons a go. Go to Scotia. Go to the boat pies, which LondonFurs put on. Go to the winter pies. Go all over the place. Make the most of what we've got here. Because really, you're only going to have good experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got great cons here as well, and I'm sure I was very keen to pick your brain as well about some of your favorite memories from ConFuzzled. So I'm sure you've probably had quite a few experiences there. But what really pop out to you in your memory is just really special times.
Really special times for me. God, I mean, the one which springs to mind weirdly was a couple of years ago, and I think it was literally my second gym Saturday night travesty. And to anyone that doesn't know, Jim Fox runs basically a knockoff game shows is the best way to describe it on a Saturday night ConFuzzled main stage main event. And the main stage has a fair amount of capacity and it's broadcast, of course, across the hotel. And the most bizarre thing of being on a winning team where the grand prize was a resin encased egg and then having the word egg shouted at you for like half an hour is just one of the most surreal but heartwarming experiences I think I can ever describe.
Incredible.
Eggs.
The
Yeah,
chat is just getting
I'm-
spammed with egg now, of course.
Look what you've done to our lovely, gentle chats on a Saturday night. Everyone's just screaming egg.
Do you know what? It's really it's a nice reminder of who's actually listening.
Everyone's listening, always listening.
But like, yeah, I mean the good times at CF they are constant. ThunderCon was another one. So there's a bar outside the back of where breakfast is called the Corona Bar, which is ironically named. Whereby it was one night a couple of years ago, and there was a massive thunderstorm came down, and for some reason we just thought it was a really good idea just to start singing really loudly in the middle of a thunderstorm at a convention, and it's weird because there's those defining moments of you, whether you be drunk with your mates or whether you be fursuiting for 10-12 hours a day, and you're like, yeah, today was a good day.
Yeah, I can imagine, and I'm sure that there's also problems as well. Like without getting into probably some of the more dramatic ones, like I'm sure there are like difficulties with running a con this size. Like what are some of the big things that are the big challenges on the weekend like that?
I think the big challenges on the weekend like that, I mean, from an attendee point of view, and you can see this going around, is that for a lot of people, they let their hair down. And that's great because maybe it's their one event of the year and it's something they really look forward to, and they go a bit overboard with the fine wine and spirits, and it puts into perspective what a difficult job that the convention welfare team do, which is comprised of our security team and our first aid team, whereby they're giving up their time to look after these specific attendees who have had a bit too much to drink, or are under the weather, and it's really difficult. Whereby they are sacrificing their convention to make sure that you don't suffer too much from your convention. And it's really important that we appreciate the hard work that welfare teams do, because a lot of the teams at ConFuzzled, a lot of teams make the convention run. So the setup guys, the design guys, the welfare guys are really they're not left out, but they run around the convention, and you may never see them, but they're always there. Yeah. And that's important. The only other thing which is, of course, visible to the naked eye is the number of ambulances which turn up in the car park. And sometimes, you can judge a con by, wow, this con's good. There's 10 ambulances tonight. Or, wow, this con's gone to hell. There's 10 ambulances tonight. So, it depends on your outlook on life, but that's one of the more difficult things, which the bigger events have to worry about, is that, yes, we're all there to have a good time, but when things get a bit too good for certain people, then you have to make sure you've got the right guys in place to help.
I'd hate to see that
you also have to. Well, I was going to say it must be difficult as well when you're trying to enforce an amount of rules just to try and keep everyone safe and happy. And you must have a lot of people pushing back against that and getting very upset and irate that just want to have fun, man. And you're like, well, you have to do it within reason. You are at an event here. You know, you're not at home.
Yeah,
so that must be a difficult thing to deal with.
This is it. And this is why within the convention packs, you know, there are the rules in there. There are convention rules, you know, the commandments of the con. They are there as a guideline to you all, really. And essentially they boil down to consent. You know, it's don't do something which is illegal. Don't do something to someone you wouldn't want done to you. Right. And it's a very simple procedure. And of course, you know, with any event, you may have 2,500 people and there's one person there that kicks off, you know, but you've still got to make sure that it's dealt with professionally, and you've still got to make sure it doesn't damage the event for the 2,499. But it is a fine line to tread. But we obviously put a lot of trust in our attendees, and that, you know, we're like, okay, you're going to come here, you're going to basically promise, you know, not to smash the windows to the pool, not to throw a television out the window, you know, all these things which you can do, but there's a little voice in the back of your head that says, well, actually, there's going to be consequences if I do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it is kind of, I think, in our furry nature as well. We see a rule, we like to go up and give that rule a little bit of a nudge.
Yeah, of course.
When you have a bunch of people nudging those rules, it does get a little bit frustrating at times.
Yeah, when it's 2,000 people nudging those. Are there, I know you touched upon you haven't been to any sort of American cons. Have you been to any other conventions around Europe or within the UK? And is there any meets or conventions, you know, UK based that you'd recommend to anyone, or that you've been to personally?
I'm a UK baby, and I was working my way up. Like, I'm going to go to American cons. I'm going to go to Eurofurence. I'm going to go all over the place. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that yet. But I have been to Just for the Weekend, and I have been to ScotiaCon. And both of those conventions I absolutely loved. I loved both of these conventions. So I went Just for the Weekend, I think 3 or 4 years ago. And again, this boils back to a bunch of us Northerners thought, hey, this is a great idea. Let's drive 4.5 hours down to Bristol. What could possibly go wrong with this? And it was an absolute belter of a time. It was a cracking little convention. And
awesome.
There's this kind of shine, because I think it was only in its second year at this point, whereby, you know, you can see the foundations of these conventions. Of this was Just for the Weekend. And we were like, this is amazing. Because, you know, you've got a small team working a small amount of attendees in a smaller hotel, grassroots convention, right? And it was an absolute blast. In conventions like these, and particularly with ScotiaCon, ScotiaCon is my absolute favourite, mostly because of the hotel. Now, the hotel is moving to a brand new hotel. So ScotiaCon 2021, if it's to go ahead, is in a brand new shiny hotel in a different city. But at the minute, this was outside of Livingston, next to something like the UK's biggest Asda, next to a shopping centre. It was imperfectly perfect. And I'm going to tell you why. So this hotel was just a square. You couldn't get lost in it because it was a square. All the corridors went to the same point. It was a square, right? And it only needed a handful of events to be absolutely amazing. And to put that into perspective, all a little convention really needs is something like a little dealer's den and an artist alley, a couple of, you know, locally inspired events. So whether the ScotiaCon was Eat Scotland, or Jeffrey was like, let's go have a fursuit walk around Bristol. Your crux of any great convention is karaoke. So if you want to start a convention, make karaoke an event, and it will be a success.
Love it.
Yeah, there's we talked to I think it was when we were talking to Pinky a while ago, and we asked the horrible question of, if anyone came up to you and said, this con thing sounds like, you know, it would be fun, I want to start my own con, what would your advice be to them?
Well,
don't
go for it. I mean, what worse can happen? I mean, when you think about that, and someone comes to you like, I want to run a con, And they go, okay, fine. What planning have you done? So, I mean, I'm in a unique position whereby all the different points of the convention which I've been into have given me this kind of insight to go, okay, let's see how well you've thought about this. And so you're like, okay, I want to run a con. How hard can it be? All right, have you found a suitable venue? Do you have a good contract with good get out clauses? Do you have good health and safety? Have you got a health and safety team? Where are your events team? What events will you have? What capacity can you take? Who's going to handle the finances? How are you going to organize your business? Are you going to be a company? Are you going to be a charity? How are you going to report those finances? And there's all of these questions which immediately spring out of the woodwork from, rather than just ringing somebody up and going, I'm going to hire a bowling alley. Great idea, though, by the way. Absolutely stunning. I love bowling con. But there's nothing stopping you. Anybody could do it. If you wanted to put in the legwork and were prepared to calculate the risks to do something like that, then why not? I mean, the worst that could happen is that, yes, it fails and that's a shame. But the best thing that could happen is it turns into a great convention that everybody wants to go to.
Yeah, especially if you start realistic and small, isn't it?
Yes, to both those things.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's so many people out there with knowledge now of organising these big events as well, that if you do, if it is something you want to do, people can approach you or approach any of us or approach whomever have organised something else and say, where do I start here? And, you're never going to go, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. Everyone's willing to give advice on how to do things. And I think that's the beauty of the fandom as a whole, really, isn't it? You've got this.
You guys will know exactly, because of course your meets are massive, your events are big, they're practically mini conventions in themselves, and that I would like to say, of course, and I know you will echo it, that we will give the time. If somebody asks us, hey, I'm thinking of maybe putting on an event, but I have no idea what to do, how do you do yours? Then we'll give them the time. We'll make sure that the next generation of convention organizers and meet organizers have this knowledge at their disposal, because there is absolutely no point in keeping it to yourself. None at all.
Exactly.
I was also going to talk about the LondonFurs meet a little bit as well. I imagine you've made it to a couple of them over the time.
Yes,
hopefully you'll come again.
Yes, I will. I will come again. I previously, obviously, back in the day when everyone was younger, they worked retail and they could never get the time off to go to a LondonFurs meet, even though they were like every 3 weeks. They never changed. And now I'm a big boy and I work Monday to Friday. I can do that now, and I will do that. And I've made the effort to go to a couple of winter parties, and they're absolutely amazing. So anyone, I mean, in this is a LondonFurs Discord, of course. So I hope that at least everyone here has been to one LondonFurs meet. But if not, please go. Please, please, please go. And then consequently, because there's a direct train between London and York, come to one of ours. Leave the capital and see the rest of the world.
Nah,
there are other meets out there. Go see them.
There are other meets available.
And York is lovely, and it has a railway museum. So what more do you need?
Yeah, I mean, York's got a river like London. It's got boats like London. It's got a railway museum, not like London.
Yes.
And we've got City Walk. Great. I'm a big pioneer for York. It's a really friendly tourist city, and I'm sorry to derail about talking about London meets, but I'm going to do it anyway. Even if there's no meet in York, come to York when you can, because it's gorgeous and you will love it. And if you don't, I will guide you around and find something for you to love. Okay, that's my guarantee.
That is quite the promise.
It is a very big promise. Back on the LondonFurs though, like I'd love it, and I want to go on, and I've not taken my fursuit to a LondonFurs meet. I've not yet plucked up the courage to put him on an underground train, like haul him down from York. I mean, York to King's Cross is nothing because it's a direct train, and I just pull him off, wander into the underground, and should be able to get around. Now, I'm going to do it. And if I say it here and make a promise to you all as the organizer, make a promise to everybody listening, and make a promise to the internet that I'm going to do it, well, then I'm going to do it. Okay, when
Okay,
I'm
we're going to
allowed,
hold you to that. That is
I will
legally
bring
binding.
it down. I will bring the very angry boy down. I mean, the problem is that when you've got size 15 feet like me, and you're trying to build fursuit paws on a size 15 foot, they take up like the whole seat on a train carriage. You know what I mean? Like the whole seat basically completely take the whole thing off. So
Love that.
logistics aside, it's fine. We're just too nice. You see, what I should do, of course, is just put him on to get into London Underground and then just kick my way through everybody because that's what he do.
That is what you do on the tube. It's just the standard thing.
Sounds about right.
So, I mean, we've been asking kind of everyone we've had on the show. It's obviously been 2020 was a really tough year for everyone. And, you know, we're looking into this year and hoping, you know, things might start to get round to coming back to normal. And just as a wrap up, really, is there anything you'd like to sort of say to everyone? Obviously, visit York is one of the main things, which is good. But is there anything you'd like to say to everyone, just from your side of things, and just as a parting gift to us all?
Yeah, absolutely. As a parting gift to you all, keep going. Like, it's been hard. It's been really, really hard. Not being able to see your friends, not being able to go to meets, not being able to go to conventions. It sucked. It's bad. The world is a bad place, but it will get better. When it does get better, we'll be waiting. And we look forward to seeing you all again soon.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
well said. I
That
feel like
is
I want to
awesome.
applaud.
we need Lupus for to have a little round of applause thing. That was.
Where is he with with your sound effect?
Yeah.
We'll probably just get your air horn.
That'll do.
That will do.
Well, Fioxy, it's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today and getting us back in line with things at all ConFuzzled and York based. And yeah, I'm gutted about the rugby, and I'm sure you are too. But I really appreciate you missing the rugby too.
Coming up to the 80th minute, I'm like, I'm just done. I'm just gonna turn it
I
off.
was done. Honestly, we just had to switch it off. But
Yeah.
Honestly, it means a lot to us. You taking the time out on a weekend to come and have a chat and just generally catch up with us all. And hopefully, when things do come back around to being normal again, we can meet up and grab a drink, and we'll see you at the LondonFurs meets.
Yeah, I love that. It's been an absolute blast being here, and I appreciate the fact that you guys take the time and the effort to put it on. It's an amazing thing. You've got loads of different guests, and I'm humbled that you came after us. So thanks once again for having me. It's been really, really nice, and I've really enjoyed myself.
Oh, thanks, buddy. It was a
Thank you
pleasure
so
to have
much.
you.
Nice one.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, I think we have come to the end of our time of this live session. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in, and what an amazing guest we had again this time. And we are still in the business of looking for guests to come on and have a chat with, or if there's any suggestions you might have of someone we should chase to have an interview with, please let us know. And just to touch again on our Telegram chat, we're looking for moderators who are wanting to get involved with running our Telegram. So if you're interested in that, do give us a shout. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. The meet does continue on our Discord. You can access the Discord via our website, via the social channel. Do come and check it out. We'll be jumping in the voice chats now to catch up with everyone. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Well, 3 weeks' time. Cheers.
Thanks all. Have a good one.
Cheerio.